packages. Contact us on Peterborough 555 330 or visit our website morecarslimited.com.
Peterborough. Who said good quality fried and grilled chicken has to be expensive? At Sam's, we take pride in every piece of chicken that leaves our kitchen. Just one bite of our chicken or burgers is all it takes to realise we are the best. Visit us at our brand new place at 333 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PF. Or order a delivery through Just Eat, Uber or Deliveroo. Sam's, the home of great tasting chicken for over 30 years.
Are you a savvy shopper searching for the best food deals? Look no further. Adams Cash and Carry can help you save big. We're not just a food wholesaler for takeaways and restaurants. We also welcome household customers at our warehouse in Westwood, Peterborough. Visit our website and enjoy wholesale prices on everything from drinks to flour, rice to burgers and much more. To shop, go online and collect in store. Visit adamscashandcarry.co.uk today to start your savings spree.
Awarded the UK's Best Muslim Charity of the Year, Muslim Global Relief, bringing hope to life for 20 years in over 40 countries around the world. Every water pump you helped to install, every needy person you helped to feed, every orphan child that you sent to school has a powerful impact on people's lives. Let us continue to make change. Make a 100% Zakat donation today. Visit muslimglobalrelief.org.
Salam Radio wishes all of our community Ramadan Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum to all of our listeners and welcome back to another show. This is Paria and Madiha live on Salam Radio 106.2 FM. Please comment on the YouTube and live stream or text 074 111 91062. So Alhamdulillah, we're back and we have had quite a long break just so that we can prepare our show and make a few changes. And one of those changes is the name change.
So we decided to change our name from the Hidayah podcast to Barakah Talks. Madiha, do you want to tell them why we did that?
So, well, I feel like Barakah Talks is more of a blessing. You know, what we talk about is more eye-opening for other people to listen to. And I feel like the Barakah Talks, the meaning of that was just...
Yeah, Barakah Talks means like the blessings that we have from the things that we say. Because that's what Barakah means. Barakah means blessings from Allah.
So
whereas the Hidayah podcast, we realized that it wasn't really a podcast, and we had a few comments saying that they didn't like our name and they didn't think it was quite suitable for our show. So we decided to change that and listen to our listeners.
So it's now Ramadan, alhamdulillah, and I hope that everyone is keeping well and that this Ramadan brings everyone happiness and ease. We have had some interesting topics that we will want to discuss this Ramadan, so please make sure you guys stay tuned. Today's topic will be all about the preparation for the rest of Ramadan, what mindset that we should have in Ramadan, for example, good and bad habits, the importance of self-reflection, and most of all, what is Ramadan and what is the importance of it.
Right, so to start on with it, we're going to start talking about, so a lot of us enter Ramadan with a lot of bad habits, and that usually pulls us down from what we're doing during our month of Ramadan. And I'd say we all struggle with that, to be honest. I mean, Madiha, did you enter Ramadan with bad habits?
Well, Ramadan, I feel like it's all about making a schedule for yourself, you know. The whole purpose of Ramadan is for all Muslims around the world to devote themselves to their faith and get closer to Allah, most of all being patient and compassionate. And I feel like there needs to be some kind of schedule, especially when we're all at school, you know, and we have so much going on in our day. And one of the bad habits that, you know, I would struggle with is kind of like not making any routine for myself.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of us struggle with that because we enter Ramadan and we're just in a state of shock. Like, the month is actually here and we've actually like lived long enough to actually see this month.
Yeah.
which most of us are not that appreciative of.
And I feel like wasting time is one of the bad habits in Ramadan that most of us can easily do.
Yeah, I do that a lot as well. You know, it's things like scrolling on your phone for hours.
Especially
That's
TikTok.
that's one of the biggest bad habits I think we all struggle with daily.
Yes.
Another bad habit I think many people struggle with is just chilling and watching
And
TV and just binge watching series and things like that. It's because we're just like, we're so focused on waiting for iftar.
Yeah.
Is it iftar? Did I get it right? Yeah, we're so focused on waiting for iftar because we're hungry, so we just like to waste the time and wait till it, well, obviously not wait, but like watch movies as we're trying to pass time.
And I feel like with Ramadan, whenever you talk to somebody, I feel like everything you should say, try to make it as beneficial as possible. Like, try avoid gossiping and talking to others. You know, I was actually reading through Sahih al-Bukhari, and the Prophet Muhammad said, whoever dies not giving up false speech and acting upon it, Allah has no need of him, or no need of giving up his food and drink. Sahih al-Bukhari.
Yeah, I wrote that one down as well. Anyways, so so Ramadan, basically, it's not just about fasting. That's what a lot of people know it as. So they're like, oh, it's Ramadan, we're just going to be fasting and just carry on with our life. But there's a lot of factors that we don't think about. Like, we need to fast with our eyes, our mouth, our tongue, our ears.
Yeah, so especially the way you speak.
Yeah. And we do that by not backbiting, not lying. We do that by not listening to filth or listening to people talking about other people, and not listening to music. That's a really big factor that lots of people still struggle with to this day in Ramadan.
And some people actually don't recognize some of these kind of factors that are actually bad habits. Oversleeping, you know, like people kind of assume that, you know, of course it's okay to sleep and have like a small nap or something like that, but some people will actually come home from school or work and they will sleep up until iftar.
I see that happen
it's
a lot
like
as well.
3 hours waste of time, and in those 3 hours, you know, I feel like one thing that people need to sort of think about is trying to make a schedule where rather than sleeping for 3 to 4 hours, why not 1 hour before Maghrib try to focus on reading your Quran and making extra prayers and du'as. And I feel like people need to start making themselves like even like a calendar, you know, like a calendar that helps them be in a routine. And trying to devote themselves to Allah.
Yeah, I feel like the first step to recognizing, to actually dealing with your bad habits would be recognizing what your bad habits are.
Yes.
And I do that by like looking at what affects my iman. And this is something I don't think many people speak about, but you know, watching movies and all that, I do struggle with that sometimes. I do sit there and watch movies. And one thing I have realized is it puts me in a sense of derealization. I don't know if you struggle, I don't know if you can relate to that, but it's like I'll watch a movie for hours and then I just get off my phone and I'm just like, where am I? Like,
what
am I doing?
You're back to the real world now.
Yeah. It's like being away from the world for a long time and you just forget everything, and it's just
100%.
Yeah, I feel like that affects my iman a lot.
You know, one of the things that I was actually quite surprised about, I didn't really think about this, but you know how everyone's kind of really excited for iftar time. Of course, there's so many different types of food. You're with your family, but people actually tend to overeat, and this can lead to, you know, being bloated and struggling to sleep, and then that kind of causes affects your routine for the next day, and you'll feel too tired to do anything.
Yeah,
and you
know that's why doctors say you shouldn't eat a lot at once. You should break it up and eat bit by bit, hour by hour. And I feel like that affects how you perform your Tarawih as well, if you're praying Tarawih. But you know, something that I've heard about overeating as well is, you know how many people their heart gets hard. One of the ways that your heart gets hard is eating a lot, overeating, and that was actually really shocking to me because I hadn't heard of that before. Have you?
I've heard something. I've heard a little bit about that, to be honest.
That was so shocking to me.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's unhealthy as well, so I don't think you should be doing it anyway.
What do you think about skipping sahur?
Skipping sahur, I wouldn't recommend it at all.
Yeah, because
I think it's very unhealthy as well.
It is. And you know, a lot of people tend to skip sahur, like either because they can't be asked to get up, or they're too sleepy, or you know, and I know a lot of people that actually skip in sahur just because they want to diet. They want to take it as an opportunity to diet. And I actually came across like another hadith I'm struggling to find it. I think I
Just
wrote
talk about what it was mainly about.
it was more about Allah has blessed us with food, and how food has
I heard
barakah
about
in
that
it.
as well.
Um,
It was like suhoor is a blessing from Allah, so why not
yeah.
make the most of it?
Oh yeah, for eat sahur, for in sahur there's barazakh, Sahih al-Bukhari. I remember that one.
Right, so I think we should start talking about what Ramadan really is. So I heard somewhere that Ramadan, the actual meaning of Ramadan is burning, and it's because it's burning away all your sins. Like, you know, a fire, it spreads really quickly because it burns really quickly as well, and it's like a metaphor to show how our sins are burnt.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way.
Have you heard of that before?
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I thought it's more. To be honest, more a little bit about patience and
Yeah, it is.
you know,
it is.
sacrificing certain things for Allah. So I feel like ways to have a good mindset in Ramadan includes good habits such as, you know, as we mentioned before, making a good schedule for yourself.
What did you do to prepare for Ramadan?
So actually, before Ramadan, you know, I got my little sisters involved. We made a Ramadan calendar, so we'd have 30 envelopes, like mini little envelopes, and in each envelope there'd be like a hadith, and every evening after iftar we'll like, we've only been for 3 days, but after iftar, me and my little sister will read the hadith, and the first task was smile at 10 people. And
Did
there was
you
a
do that?
hadith. Well, I tried to do that. And there was a hadith that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a smile is charity.
Yeah.
Al-Bukhari. So I thought that was such a beautiful
That
hadith.
is
Like, it's
beautiful.
something so small and people don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I decided to.
Was that from the first day?
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
thought I'd start
like
with something
that because
easy.
you started from something small.
Something small.
That's so cute. MashaAllah, Allah barik.
Yeah. And then the second day, it's more like a hadith, just a reminder of Ramadan, actually, and what it's about. And I think one of the tasks is to try and raise money for charity. And that's a really important factor, you know. So that's one of...
Have you done that one yet? Like,
that
have
one's
you
going to
opened that
probably
one?
come a bit later on.
Did you all write it individually, or did you?
We all
Did
made our
one
own.
person-
We all made our
Oh.
own different envelopes, and then we stuck it on this. So
That's
I
true.
recommend making a calendar.
Yeah, I'd recommend that
Um,
as well. That sounds very good.
So I feel like making a schedule, this will help you to plan, keep track for the rest of Ramadan, and as well as the rest of your day. And you know what, this comes, you know, into school, how we're all doing, you're getting a lot of year 11s and GCSEs and A-level students.
Yeah, and they're struggling with trying to keep up with their A levels and also their Ramadan and reading their daily.
I was
bits of
like, I
prayer.
was at school the other day, and one of my teachers, she did something really sweet for me. So she said that I'm going to make you a Ramadan schedule, like a Ramadan revision plan. So it'd be like, I recommend
Your
this for a lot of
teachers did that
students.
for
Yeah,
you?
she did that for me.
That's so cute.
I recommend this for a lot of students out there who are fasting as well. So it's like after school, try to do 2 hours of revision before, you know, iftar time. Like, it works one way for me because to sleep, a lot of people like to sleep
Yeah, I've heard
after
about that
school,
as
you
well.
know. I'm not gonna lie, I like to sleep a lot after school. And then iftar time. And then Taraweeh. A lot of
Yeah.
people go Taraweeh. So it's
And
kind of
after
like,
that, they're
it's a little
tired.
bit difficult, you know, to revise in Ramadan
Yeah, I
unless
agree.
you do it at school. So I struggled to make my revision plan, but I decided that, you know, in most of my free periods, I was going to revise. And I decided that after school, I would do 1 hour, but sleep for 1 hour as well. So that is my that's all about my revision plan.
Yeah. So what I did to prepare for my Ramadan is, when I first entered the month of Ramadan, how did you feel? Did you feel like it's Ramadan, or did you feel like different, or did you feel
I feel like one thing that excites me about Ramadan is, you know, when you prepare, you make preparations for it. You know, they say you should actually treat Ramadan like it's a guest, you know.
I've heard about that, yeah.
And yeah.
Did you feel like Ramadan's actually here? Like, did you feel like you weren't feeling something that you were meant to be feeling on
No,
the day of
mashallah, there were
Ramadan?
a lot of blessings in the air, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you know, for me, when I first got into Ramadan, I just automatically, I felt like a lot of iman in my heart. And you know, you start Ramadan, I don't know if everyone can relate to this, but you start Ramadan with a high iman, and I feel like the struggle of Ramadan is actually maintaining the high iman.
Yeah.
And what I did was I would listen to so as I'd walk to school, I'd put my AirPods in and I'd put a search on YouTube, lectures, things like that. And I'd always like, the main people I'd listen to would be like Dawah Man or Muslim Bilal.
Yeah, it kind of links. You know how you should have self-reflection in Ramadan. You need to make time for you and Allah, And a lot of people are like, go to school, come back, then it's iftar, after sleeping, tarawih.
Yeah.
So they're not really making that time for themselves. So, when you're walking to school, you have that extra time just to make that for yourself and Allah, even listen to these small little talks, and it makes such a big difference.
Yeah, I feel like it really like keeps your iman up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to speak about how, when you're ill, so a lot of people ask me, they'd be like, why is my iman so low? Like Ramadan started and my iman's so low. And when you're ill, you're told to like take paracetamol or something. Let's say your back really hurts, and as you take paracetamol, it numbs the pain off basically, and it's only for a couple of hours until the pain comes back, and then you have to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally the same as, like, for example, our iman. Let's say, when you go to like a lecture in masjid or something, your iman goes really high, and when you come back home you feel like it should drop back down. That's why we should always that's why it's very what's it called, lots of people say like you should get into more Islamic lessons or things like that to maintain your iman, because you're around people of your ummah.
One that kind of reminds me, I followed Mufti Menk on social media, obviously on Instagram, and it was quite funny because he has these Ramadan groups. So he has like joined the Zoom meeting. So every night there'll be
Zoom meetings.
Yeah, so for the sisters, every night there'll be a cooking class. So for
Really?
iftar, you can join the cooking class, and you'd know what to make for the next day. It's something cute like that, and other reminders as well.
Have you ever joined it before?
I've joined one of them.
How was it?
It was okay. It was alright. Just
Did you actually make the food though?
no, I didn't. I just looked at the food. Especially on TikTok, when you see there's really nice foods. For what am I gonna make tomorrow? When you see those foods, that's so, But
I think we should also speak about. So one thing that helped me a lot with increasing my iman was saying salam to random people.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a small thing. People don't really look at it as something important.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of people be like, why should I say salam? Why do people not say salam to me?
Mm-hmm.
Someone asked the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who should say salam first? The old, the young, the rich, the poor? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the one who's more closer to Allah.
Oh,
And I feel like that's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because, if you're closer to Allah, you automatically, you have that in your head to just say salam first.
Mm.
And I have a little story about that, and it just shows that saying your salams helps someone more than it really does. When I say salam to someone, it makes me like, you just start smiling, and you can't stop smiling. But when you say salam to someone and they don't say salam back, it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah, mashallah.
But so the story is, there was a man, and he was really struggling with his life at home, his marriage, his business. He was going into debt, and he was just so ready to end it all. So he was walking on his way to go commit suicide. This is really saddening, by the way. And as he was walking on his way, a random man just crossed the road to say salam to him. And after that, he was like, whoa, like he felt the beauty of Islam truly in his heart. So it changed his whole mindset. And he went back home that day, and he sorted everything out with his wife. And he started making dua. He started like apologizing to Allah, like, Ya Allah, I'm sorry, I had doubt in you and everything. And it's just so beautiful. Like, like that's what Islam truly does to you. It unites everyone.
And that's like the vibe in Ramadan, when you're walking down the streets, there's so many people around. Even after like Tarawih, it's such a blessing in the air.
I love seeing how many people are entering the masjid for Tarawih. It's so beautiful. Like, the other day at Masjid Khadija, all the women were trying to go pray Tarawih, and there was literally no space. That's how full it was. And in comparison to last year, that was so beautiful to me, because like the amount of people that have started to go to masjid more regularly because of Ramadan, and they're actually trying to improve their deen. It was just so beautiful.
I feel like Tarawih is the main thing for me that makes me feel that vibe of Ramadan, I feel like one of the second points a lot of people would agree with this. Setting goals for yourself in Ramadan, such as, charity work, having the intention to raise a specific amount of money, for example, like it can even be cake bakes, charity bakes, and even GoFundMe pages, and choose a charity that you want the money to go to.
Make sure the charity is reliable.
Yeah, so I was planning on doing a cake bake charity, and I wanted the money to go to Turkey and Syria because of the situation that's happening there right now.
My school had actually done something for the Ramadan charity. I was actually shocked because I go to an all-white school, basically. It's not really multicultural, but we do have some like Muslim people, but it's not as many people. But one day I just walked into school and I see a poster and it says there's a raffle for there's an Easter raffle and all the money is going to the charity in Syria and Turkey. And I was so shocked. I was like, I felt so happy. And obviously, but what did you do to set goals for Ramadan? What goals did you set for yourself?
This is one of my biggest goals for the charity work. I love doing a lot of charity work, especially for my mum's charity, the New Muslim Circle. But at the same time, I felt like, Turkey and Syria is one of the, it's such a tragedy that's going on there right now. So
I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about that. Like, I feel like it was a 1 week thing and now no one's speaking about it anymore.
I know, it's pretty sad, but yeah, I'm going to keep that going, inshallah. Every Ramadan, I do that.
Inshallah.
So keep that going. And that's one of my biggest goals, to be honest. But at the same time, you know what? It's really hard because I'm in year 13 now. So I'm trying to focus on my revision. And, make that schedule for myself. But at the same time, it's just like, oh, I've got to go Islamic studies on Friday. And then I've got, the show. And then I've got this. And it's just like, how can I work around
balancing?
So it's like one of the struggles.
What I'd set for myself as my Ramadan goals was no makeup, because I feel like topology is something I actually do struggle with. And something else that I've actually set for myself is no music and no bad talking or backbiting. And that's not just me backbiting, it's listening to other people backbite. Because I've heard that you sin for other people backbiting about others as well. So it's like I struggle with actually communicating to people and being like, don't speak about other people around me or whatever. So I like to just keep away from them. So that's something I've wrote for myself. And I've also wrote be more appreciative, because I heard that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases your blessings when you're more appreciative. But anyways, do you still work while you're in Ramadan?
That's one of the struggles that I go through, actually. So
how do you deal with that?
Work starts at 6 in the morning and finishes about 12. It's not actually as bad because it's like after suhoor I'll sleep for 1 hour and then I'll go work.
You do sleep.
And I'll come back at 12, but at least it's out the way, and then I can sleep after that.
12?
Yeah, I can come back at 12.
Do you
and then
work
sleep
around
after
food?
That. Yes.
How do you deal with that?
It's not that bad, to be honest. It's not that bad.
Do you ever not sleep after Sahari?
The thing is, Sahari time would end about 4, right?
Yeah.
So it's only 2 hours after, so I'm not feeling hungry or anything like that. I have that energy in me.
But you know how time's changing from today? How are you going to deal with that? Because Sahari's going to finish at around 5 now and you've got work at 6, so does that mean you're not going to sleep?
I'll sleep for 2 hours, but it's not that bad. It's okay.
Yeah, but now that time's changed, I don't think you can do that anymore.
I woke up, I forgot the clocks went forward yesterday, and I was sleeping. I was like, why does it feel like I've slept for 1 hour when I aimed to sleep for 2 hours, and then I realized I was literally falling asleep at work. But yeah. What have you written anything more on self-reflection? What are your thoughts on self-reflection?
My thoughts on self-reflection is when I actually do something wrong, I like to when you do something wrong, you actually feel it in your iman, and it kind of changes your mindset as well, and it affects me. And I straight up, that's something alhamdulillah, I've been used to, is when I do something that's affecting my iman, I straight up I'm like, okay, I need to reduce this. And like I said, that's something like watching movies and series and something like that. As much as I want to do it, I like to keep away from it because it affects me. Something else would be like when I walk past someone and I don't say salam. I don't know, but I feel the guilt so much. I don't know if you can relate to that, but I feel the guilt so much. But it's just like a matter of shyness and things like that. What about you? How do you deal with self-reflection?
I've kind of made myself a time in the evening. I like praying and making dua. I've started tahajjud as well, and the impact of it is amazing, honestly. My sister's been getting up for tahajjud as well, and she started telling me, you should do tahajjud. And it's not actually that hard because Fajr starts at 4, maybe 10 past 4.
Do you do it before you do your sahri?
Yeah, you have to do it before. So I started doing that, and the impact of it is amazing, honestly.
How many rakats do you do? Because some people do 2.
I think it's 4. Like you can do 2 to 4 or 6 to 8, even 20 rakats. It can go up to 20 rakats. And my sister was like, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do 13 rakats. So yeah, that's what I've started doing.
I have another prayer I want to speak about. So this is a prayer I don't think many people have talked about or heard about, and that's the duha prayer. Have you heard about that?
No, I never heard of that.
So the duha prayer is after Fajr and before Dhuhr, and it's about 2 to 4 rakats, just like tahajjud, but it's a prayer where when you pray it, Allah actually like grants you more help spiritually, mentally. And I have an example of this. So I actually prayed it once. I do need to pray it more, but it's just because I'm a bit lazy. I wake up really late. May Allah change that.
That's another problem that everyone's doing. In the holidays, I bet in the holidays, I'm going to be going to bed at least 2 in the morning. I'm going to be
I know.
The sleeping patterns are going to be terrible. I really don't know how I'm going to work out a revision times table where it's flexible.
Especially for A-levels.
We've got a comment as well from Sephora Horton. Mashallah, you girls are amazing. Such confident, articulate voices. You do the community proud. Keep up the great work. Jazakallah khair. That's made me feel
thank you
a
so
lot more
much.
confident.
So the duha prayer, you pray it after Fajr and before Dhuhr. And when I first did it, so I was praying that I have something that I struggle with, which is laughing. And like a female, they shouldn't laugh out loud, especially to like around the opposite gender and things like that. And I felt like that really like affected me, and that made me feel so like guilty about myself. And I prayed to Allah, and I was like, Ya Allah, make it easier for me to control my emotions. And controlling my emotions towards things like studying and things like that, because when it comes to studying in school, I'm just like, nah, I can't be bothered. My mind's so full of the knowledge that I just took in from the previous class. I don't want to think it. So it really helped me with that.
Okay, guys, we're going to finish shortly for a break, and inshallah in the second half we'll be talking more in depth about good habits in Ramadan. Hope you enjoyed listening. Assalamu alaikum.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
This year, for the first time, residents must show photo ID when voting at the local elections on May the 4th. You may already have an acceptable form of photo ID, such as a passport or driving licence. But if you don't, you can apply for a free voter ID document known as a Voter Authority Certificate on the Peterborough City Council website. You must apply for your free voter ID certificate by April the 25th. For more information, go to www.peterborough.gov.uk and search for Voter ID.
Masterminds Tuition Academy is for your high schoolers, your something to provers, your subject strugglers and keen learners, your brave jumpers and fist pumpers. Affordable personalised learning plans are delivered through our centres in schools across Peterborough. But not to worry, we also provide online and home visits with flexible timings. Whether it is maths, English, science or 11+, Masterminds is a must. Find us on all socials and visit our website mastermindstuitionacademy.com or call us on 07516 166 003. Masterminds, master the matrix.
At Cake Inn, all our cakes and slices are freshly baked for that delicious taste. At Cake Inn, we bake 100% vegetarian and halal eggless fresh cream cakes. Delicious flavoured cakes for birthdays and weddings, ceremonies and all other occasions, with free customised messages, even balloons and candles too. Order for delivery or collection from Cake Inn, 489 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PE, and your cake could be ready within 2 hours. Find out more and order online at cakeinn.co.uk or call 01733 496 584.
The holy month of togetherness and sharing is upon us. Bring your family together with Elephant Atta, the nation's favourite atta for over 60 years. This Ramadan, Elephant Atta is offering special discounts on medium and fine white chapati atta, available in convenient 10 and 25 kg bags. Make this Ramadan one to remember with Elephant Atta.
You could be driving, you might be cooking, you could even be working. But whatever you're doing, you're also listening to Salam Radio. And if you're in business, your potential new customers could be listening too. So talk to them and let them know what you have to offer. Advertising on Salam Radio is affordable and effective. And by doing so, you're also supporting this valuable and important voice within the community. Right now, there are special Ramadan advertising offers available too. Call 07866 319 679 or find Salam Radio online and across social media.
Salam Radio wishes all of our community Ramadan Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and once again welcome back to Salam Radio.
And welcome back to Barakah Talks.
Please comment on YouTube and live stream or text 074111 91062.
You're currently with Paria and Madiha.
And today we are discussing what kind of mindset we should have in Ramadan and how we should be prepared for the rest of Ramadan.
A lot of things people really speak about is dieting and eating healthy in Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about that?
So, not eating healthy can lead to so many different things like sleeping, like difficulty sleeping, especially bloating. And
body tiredness as well.
Yeah, and you know how we spoke about having a routine and a schedule. It can affect our schedule, especially going to school when we're sleeping late.
Yeah, that does affect people a lot, and especially with like being hungry there. And I heard there's a lot of hacks, like eating, I think it's carbs.
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah,
and
eating a lot of
foods.
carbs and starchy foods, yeah, to make you feel less hungry. And I think it's a healthy option as well.
Yeah, like my mum, we kind of balance it a little bit. So for iftar, we might have something very big, Sometimes it's different. It depends. When we're having family gatherings, we might have a massive iftar, whether it's samosa, pakore, everything there, biryani. And then maybe for sahur, we'll all be so full that we can't really eat like a full meal, So we'd have like a date or something, maybe a fruit salad.
Do you stay up till sahur or do you sleep before sahur?
I used to, but now I'm exhausted. I can't. And when I get up, I can't eat at all.
I think it's the excitement of when the month starts.
I think last night, what did you eat for sahur last night?
I ate cornflakes.
I had the paratha.
I literally, I woke up, and when you just wake up and you're just like, I can't be bothered to like make anything for myself. Because my parents, what they eat is just like cheeses and toast and tea, obviously.
You know what makes me laugh? A lot of people, they prepare like a massive breakfast and they still have...
I know. There's a lot of people on Instagram and stuff posting about what I made for my suhoor, and it's a whole like 1 hour recipe, and I'm just like, how can you stay up and make all of that?
And I feel like
I could never.
It has to
I feel
be
like you'd have
balanced.
to prepare it the night before you wake up, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Even if it was the night before, I couldn't, because you come back from Tarawih and your legs are just so tired, and I just want to chill in bed. I don't know about you.
I was gonna say my eating habits are really messed up in Ramadan, because I'm like, after Tarawih I'll come home and I'll just eat, like I'll eat again. I'll have like, you know, I think we had what did we have yesterday? I had lasagna yesterday, but I didn't go Tarawih after though. I had no energy to go. But it is, I feel like we have to balance ourselves, and also I don't know if you'd agree, but following the sunnah as well, you know, how the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he never used to eat big portions, you know, he said always leave 1/4 of your stomach.
I think it's a third, you know.
A third,
a third. A third goes to water, a third goes to food, and a third is for your breathing, your lungs.
It was a third,
Yeah.
And also he used to eat, I feel like we should follow the sunnah foods as well, you know, like cucumber, honey, dates, those kind of things.
I think there's oil as well that you should have.
Those kind
Black
of things.
seed oil.
Yeah. Have inspired me to, you know, add those into my diet. And I think that's the nice thing about suhoor, you know, you don't really have to have anything too, you know, big, heavy. Like iftar is more about like, you know, pasta, heavy foods.
You know me, after Tarawih, I don't know about you, but I have such a sweet tooth, so I just come home and I'm eating sweet foods.
The amounts of cups of tea though.
When it comes to breaking my fast, I can't eat. Is it just you? Is it just me? I feel like a lot of people relate to this.
You know what's funny? Everyone's like, oh, I can't wait to eat. I'm going to eat like a monster.
I know.
And then they eat a day and they're like, I don't really feel like eating now.
We think with our stomachs, but then when it comes to the food, we just can't eat it. But for me, like when I eat, I eat, but then I feel really bloated. So I have to take a hour break, and then I can eat normally again. But so that was on eating. I feel like another thing that we should speak about, a big topic, we won't really go into depth, but I feel like we need to speak about mental health in Ramadan, because I feel like there's a lot of people who enter Ramadan with past trauma and things like that stop them from actually taking the month more seriously, or like from actually gaining things from Ramadan, like increased iman and things like that. What's your views on that? I
feel like, you know how we mentioned self-reflection, I feel like, you know how you mentioned trauma, you know, a lot of people can go through a lot of stuff, and they use Ramadan as a time to heal. You know, and it's like one of the best times to take advantage of that month, the special month, and the blessings within it.
I heard something that said, if you can't change in the month of Ramadan, when can you change? That's not actually like a hadith or anything, but that's something someone said. I would believe in that, but at the same time I don't, because I know that you can change outside of Ramadan. I did.
A lot
personally.
of people tend to, you know, I had one of my cousins who never used to like pray. They never used to, you know, they never had that habit, and then in Ramadan they said, right, I'm gonna start practicing now. I'm gonna pray my salah, and then after that they prayed after Ramadan. It was like they still had that iman in them after Ramadan, you know.
That's why people say during the month of Sha'ban you plan what you want to do during Ramadan, and then in Ramadan you make those plans happen. So it's things like praying my 5 a day,
like realistic plans. You know?
Realistic.
Realistic.
I know, like for example, there's an example, like many females, they come into Ramadan and they actually start wearing the hijab, whether it's just during the month of Ramadan or they start doing it during Ramadan and after. That's something like I really like. It makes me happy to see females actually having that goal set for themselves, because many females just like to push it away, and honestly I don't blame them, because hijab isn't really something that's easy. Many of us still 100%. Struggle with that. But going back onto mental health, I feel like many people they like to I don't think they know how to heal from the trauma. Something I'd advise is communication with Allah. Tell them about how you communicate with Allah.
So you know, one thing I like to do, it might sound a little bit weird, but I actually like to just almost have a conversation and talk to Allah. Like, I'll be sitting down after my salah and I'll just be like, Ya Allah, I had a really hard day today. And I'll make like a big dua.
That's such a healthy habit, Allahumma barik.
And honestly, it's the best feeling after, I talk about every little thing that has, irritated me, or every little thing that has made me sad or unhappy. And then I'd say something like, Allah, if you think this is the best for me,
make it for me.
Yeah, and then if you think that, it's going to teach me something and there's going to be an outcome, then this is a blessing, and I'll take it as a blessing regardless of how it's making me feel.
And at the same time, they say if Allah really loves you, you'll go through a lot more things, like many more obstacles will come your way. And that's where some people say, when I see pain, I take it as a reward. Allahumma barik. There's a lot of stories to do with that. For example, like I know a man, he went through a lot of trauma, and he was born and raised in, no, he wasn't born in London, but he was raised in London. And you know what London is like. There's a lot of gang crime, things like that, and he was actually a victim of that. And he went through a lot because of gangs and things like that. But in the end, because he had sabr, Allah actually changed his life. And one of the evidences of that was he was told he couldn't have kids, and Allah changed his life by giving him a daughter, which was something he wanted his whole life. Allahumma barik. It just shows that we should have sabr, so if you're going through any mental health issues, just have sabr and don't give up on Allah, because Allah's the only one who can change your life for you. You can't change the way you are. That's one thing you could do. You can't change how other people are towards you, but you can change who you are. But just rely on Allah and He'll change everything else for you.
Like a lot of people think that, of course, Ramadan is about being with your family as well. Spending quality time with your family, especially iftar time. But sometimes a lot of people can constantly around that, and there's literally no time for them to self-reflect, and they don't have that opportunity to appreciate self-reflection.
Or appreciate the good matters happening in their lives. I agree with that one.
And of course, having a big family, is a therapy in itself. Always being around your family, feeling safe, feeling happy, sharing your food with for iftar, the blessings. But at the same time, you have to focus on yourself and try to make that time for you and ensure that it's just you and Allah. And one of these things that I try to do at night is praying zikr. So I made myself like a little prayer corner. And I got like some tasbeehs from Medina that my mum bought after Umrah, and then I put them in like a little box, and then I have my salam mat, and I put some Ramadan fairy lights on the wall. So it's like a really cute little corner that actually makes me want to self-reflect on myself after Taraweeh, and I'll pray my Isha, and I'll do 2 extra nafil. And then I like to read my Quran, even though it's been 3 days. But I'm kind of talking about my Ramadan from last year as well, and how I focused on myself. Is this something you've always been doing, or is it something you've started doing this year? I feel like when you're younger, you don't really understand Ramadan. It's more about the food, and I go to my grandma's to eat tonight. It's like meet everyone at the masjid. It's not really. No one really. When you're younger, you don't really understand the importance of Ramadan, and what it's about. And now it's like we can feel that because we actually try to, we can feel those blessings and that vibe in Ramadan because we understand the importance of it and the meaning. Would you say that was a physical preparation for Ramadan? Yeah. So did you do it before Ramadan or before Ramadan, like a week before? And I really, another thing that really motivated me was seeing other people prepare for Ramadan, was this on social media? Yeah, like on TikTok as well. TikTok had some really good videos actually. A lot of people are like buying calendars, and I thought, what? Why are they buying calendars when you can just make one? Is that why when you came up with the envelope thing? Yeah, Allahumma barik. That's so cute. I went to Hobbycraft and I got this big cardboard piece, and she cut in half for me. And she said to me, "Oh, it's £12." And I said, "Oh my God, for that cardboard piece." And then she said, "But you can join Hobbycraft and get a £6 discount." And then I was like, "Did you join it?" Yeah, I joined it just for that. And I bought the whole thing for £3 in the end. I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Fatima, are you sure this is more than £5 discount?" It was hilarious, honestly. But the blessings in it, Yeah. You get. You used it for something good. Was it like, did you do like a whole, basically like
a wall piece size of cardboard, and you did like envelopes on it.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't too big, but it was enough to fit on 30 small envelopes. And we had a bit of a struggle to begin with because there was like 10 envelopes that were hanging from the bottom, and we were like, where do we put these? And we also run out of 10 envelopes, like, not, you know, the cards to put inside, we ran out the envelopes.
Yeah.
So we were like, what are we going to do now? So we just we cut an extra piece of in the cardboard that we got, and then we put it at the bottom, and then we stuck the cards underneath, but then we didn't put them in envelopes, but it still looked okay. The only issue is my little sister comes and she peels off the decorations, and she leaves. It's so annoying, but yeah.
Allah Mubarak anyway.
MashaAllah.
So what are some good habits you enforced in yourself as Ramadan started?
I feel like zikr was one of them, and also participating in stress-free activities, like, you know, even Khadija Masjid, you know, like the youth clubs they do, being around girls that you like to be around, positive energy, and even going to like iftars to meet other people as well, to get to know other people.
Yeah, I feel like getting to know other people is such a big factor in your iman going really high, because you get to meet like a whole other opinion on like things that they're going through on a daily basis, things that they're struggling with, and you get to get more advice from a different perspective, and you get to give advice from a different perspective as well, because like speaking to a stranger and speaking to someone you actually know, you get two different types of answers from them.
And even it kind of reminded me, I feel like anything that involves sort of being like getting involved in Ramadan more, and, you know, practicing your deen more and making you feel closer and feeling that vibe of Ramadan, youth clubs, you know, cooking lessons for iftar, you know, getting to meet other people, even joining live Zoom meetings for talks with Umar Suleiman or Mufti Menk. Those are the two sheikhs that I joined for the Zoom meetings online. So, you know, mashallah, that's what keeps me motivated. And yeah.
Yeah, some habits that I've put in are like, when I come home, I like to, after I pray, sometimes I'd like to pull out my Quran and read a few pages, and I like to keep up with where we are on in Taraweeh, because you know they like to complete, I think it's a juz every day. Obviously I can't do that, but may Allah guide me to being able to read that much Quran. And all of us, I mean. But I've heard like there's a lot of opinions on reading Quran. Like some people will say you should read it in a way which you understand the Quran, which would be the English translation. I have been doing that.
Yeah, you have. You've been highlighting it as well, you know, the most important parts of it.
Allah Mubarak, Alhamdulillah, we were gifted with English translations of the Quran. But if you don't have English translation, I really recommend you buy one, because, you know, you can get it for really cheap as well. I know some places that sell it for like under £1, or even some people sell it for free, obviously, to people that are interested in Islam. But if you're Muslim, then they sell it for like £5 or under. And there's a lot of pages who do that. I find that really like beneficial. Allah Mubarak. But, you know, reading the Quran and understanding the Quran is two different things, because when you understand the Quran, you can actually input it into your life and changing the way you really are. And something else that I've actually been doing, which I haven't really heard about a lot, is trying to learn the 99 names of Allah.
Yeah. I remember when I was a little kid, you know, when I was homeschooled, so my mum would, for the first hour of our day, so from 9 to 10, we'll do like Islamic studies, and would learn the 99 names of Allah. And my mum used to tell us, well, if you memorize all of these, you'll go to Jannah. And we got up in a row, all of us, and we were like, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. And we played initially. We learned like half of it, I'd say.
Allah Mubarak.
But I know quite a lot, mashallah.
Yeah, Allah Mubarak.
But, you know, that's one of the things that we did, you know, and especially knowing what the impact of it was, and the reward that we'd get for it at such a young age.
I feel like we should learn Allah's names and also the meanings with it, because the meanings are the most important, obviously.
Those kind of targets, especially like Sheikh Imam Kohli was saying that, you know, like this year, the goal is to memorize Surah Sajda.
Really?
And although like I've finished most of that in my hifz, it's an opportunity for me to go over it. You know?
Allah Mubarak.
And easily be able to memorize it. Like I've always wanted to just really memorize my hifz without like making a single
Are you
mistake.
still doing your hifz during Ramadan? Are you still in that
it's,
course, or
it's
have they
really
like...
difficult. It's really difficult with Ramadan, my
Yeah.
hifz, because in Egypt it's 2 hours ahead. So me and my Quran teacher, we're struggling to sort of choose a time that is suitable for both of us, because I have school, and then when it's like my iftar time, it's her tarawih, or it's like really late, you know.
Yeah, okay.
So I feel like a lot of people that do hifz, they stop hifz for a month, but some people don't. And then I feel like that's a struggle for me, because I'm trying to like in general like read the Quran as well, you know, how everyone completes the Quran in Ramadan. There's that, like a spara every day or a juz every day, and then on top of that is my memorization. So it's a struggle. Like you really have to fit in a time and figure out when you want to do it.
And you're not trying to give up the habit of actually continuing with their hifz as well.
100%.
So have you stopped then?
No, I haven't stopped. It's just
Allah Mubarak, that's so good.
Yeah.
But you know, talking back about the 99 names of Allah, there's actually like so many websites that actually quiz you on that, and I find that so beneficial, alhamdulillah, and I've actually been trying. So the quizzes are like, there's all the rows on it, it says the numbers on it, and what you have to do is you'd have to type in the name, and as you type in the name, when you get it right, it like the card flips over and the name comes up, and it's all in order. And if you don't know one of them, you could just press on it and it turns over, but it turns over orange. So you know that you need to work on that name.
There's a lot of quizzes. I wanted to join on that. You sent me that one earlier on. I was going to join that one as well. But yeah, what else do you think about? Would you agree that, you know, a lot of, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but a lot of our elders say, you know, stay home and eat iftar with your family. You know, it's not good to go out too much, and you know, Ramadan's about being with your family as well. What are your opinions on that?
I would think, I would personally say to stay with your family, because a lot of people don't appreciate their family as much as
and it brings
they
them
should.
together as well.
Yeah, and heaven is beneath your mum's legs, feet.
Yes, feet. Oh my god.
And you know, help your mother out, obviously, whether you're female or male, because you know they're making food for iftar, and they have to tidy up the kitchen after that as well, and they have to set the table for you.
Yeah.
And they like to make food that you actually enjoy, so they
put that
make
effort and that
time.
love.
They make time to actually do that for you. So you should stay home, but obviously that doesn't mean don't go out and see your friends.
I feel like, you know, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, he valued his friends a lot, and that's like an example for it in itself. You know, it is important to also share your iftar with your friends, you know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with sharing your iftar with your friends. Of course, it is important to spend a lot of time with your family.
Because there are some reverts out there who actually don't have a family to spend their iftar with. So if you can like bring them into your homes, or like go out with them for iftar or something, you know, make it easier for them to like know more about Ramadan, and like make them feel loved and not alone, because a lot of reverts, may Allah bless them, they do feel alone during Ramadan, and I actually do feel for them, because they're at home and they don't have the families to like, well, they do have families, but they can't really like create
appreciate
healthy,
it with their family, you know?
and create healthy habits with their families. So they're being like
it kind of reminds me of, you know, my mum's charity, New Muslim Circle. And one of the struggles is seeing, you know, some of the reverts that haven't actually got a family to spend the iftar with.
Yeah.
And even if they do, it's like they don't have that, you know, they don't
that
have that empathy of, you know, understanding why we fast in the day. And I feel like it's really sweet, because they'll do like an iftar where all the reverts, and you know, it doesn't have to just be reverts, it can be, you know, Muslims that have been Muslims since the day they were, you know,
or people that are interested in Islam,
or people that are generally interested in Islam, and even people that were born Muslim but didn't really practice their deen, and then they have decided to come back to their deen. And it's beautiful to see them all together, you know, spending time together, and you know, appreciating each other's company. And that's an example for, you know.
Yeah, I've heard there's a charity as well that are doing an iftar for people interested in Islam and who are reverts and they don't have people to break their fast with. Is that your mom's charity?
I think that is a charity. Every single night.
Because I saw it now.
There's a lot going on, so it's a bit like which charity is that again? There's so many going on at Masjid Khadija, mashallah.
Yeah.
And you know, another thing that I wanted to talk about self-reflection, ensuring that you have that positive mindset in Ramadan, is, you know, like even after iftar or before suhoor or after suhoor, it's going on walks with your family. It could even be by yourself. You know, it's peaceful. It's fresh air.
Something I think that many people should do within their families is, you know, them Islamic trivia board games.
I've never heard of that.
I hadn't either until I scrolled across. Bro, why am I stuttering? Until I scrolled across someone's some family that had been doing a trivia, and it was like about memorizing hadiths and stuff, and it's like, for example, who's the first prophet, and if you get the right answer, you get 3 points, and on the board you can go 3 places with your what it is that you go within it, instead of using a dice, and so it doesn't have to be like an Islamic board game. It can be any board game. Like, for example, I like to play Monopoly with my family, and I feel like it brings everyone together without having the use of like devices or things like that.
Even like, would you agree, like even reading books as a family, like a Ramadan book? I've heard of one really good one called The Secrets of Divine Love. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Yeah, I've heard of that as well.
But a lot of people are reading that as well this Ramadan.
What's something that you do to get close to your family in Ramadan?
Well, I feel like most of it is, in general, I feel like with my siblings it's charity work, because we do plan that. With my friends it's charity work. That's our way of bonding together in Ramadan and, you know, sharing the blessings with one another. I feel like with my extended family, most of it is about the iftar. It's more about being together and, you know, praying together before iftar. You know, we're always like, you know, we'll cut our watermelon, our dates, and we'll sit down, we'll break our fast and be like, oh, let's go pray together. And I feel like even praying with your family, you know, all that's together, like the whole family, is such a beautiful thing. And that's one of my favourite things about
I feel like something
Ramadan.
else that a lot of us do is go to Tarawih with all our family. And it's just like something that we do is, so as we're getting into the car and we're on our way to Tarawih, we go to the same, no, we actually don't go to the same mosque, but we still go in the same car. And we just put on the sheets and we're just like, you know, that feeling of Ramadan. And it almost makes me emotional.
You know, Ramadan, the first night of Ramadan, everyone's blasting out Ramadan nasheeds. Those are the little nasheeds that we used to listen to when we were little kids. Ramadan is here by Native Deen. That's one of my favourite ones. So yeah. We have a comment from Auntie Rahab. MashaAllah, so proud of you, Madiha and Paria.
Thank you, Auntie Rahab, we love you.
So I feel like so we will be ending the show very shortly, guys. But bearing in mind, next week we'll have a very interesting topic to come up, inshallah.
Yeah, I just want to briefly talk about the reward of fasting before we end this, because that's what Ramadan is all about. But in Sahih Muslim 1151, it says, every deed of the son of Adam will be multiplied between 10 to 700 times, except fasting. Allah said, it is for me and I shall reward it. He gives up food, drinks and his desires for my sake. So I think we should,
I hope you guys have benefited from the show, inshallah. And next week, we really want to put out some questions and some answers in order for you guys to benefit from it. Next week topic will be a surprise.
Inshallah, we'll be bringing a guest speaker in.
Okay. Inshallah, you guys stay tuned for next week. You are listening to Pari and Madiha.
I hope you've all benefited from this. Assalamu alaikum.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
You could be driving,